Today, let's look on how we can use the SUMIFS function within the Excel, and we're going to see step by step. And if you find this video useful, consider subscription or leave a like as we follow along. So, as you can see up here, I have my data column or data range here. I have my employees, department, sales, and month. And within here, we want to use the SUMIF to find the sales for Ahmed within our employees column, and where the sales are greater than 5,000. Okay, how to do that? We're going to use what we call the SUMIF function. So we shall highlight, or we shall click our cell where we want our result to be. We start off with our equal sign, so we type our SUMIFS function. We double click it there, then it will ask for the sum range. Now this time the sum range would be in our sales column, right? So you highlight your sales column, you put a comma over there, it will ask you for the criteria range. Since we're finding Ahmed sales and Ahmed is in employees column, so we shall highlight the employees column too, then we put a comma, then we ask for us for the criteria. Now this criteria we only want to sum up the Ahmed's sales. So within here we shall write Ahmed over here, as you can see, then we put a comma there. Okay, then we want to get Ahmed's sales, but we want them to be greater than 5,000. So within here we shall write a criteria range, the second criteria range, which will be our sales column again. As you can see, you highlight your sales column, then comma, then within here we shall say which will be greater than 5,000. As you can see, then we close our brackets, so we hit enter. As you can see, it has summed up the total sum of Ahmed sales, but only those which are greater than 5,000. So when we highlight or we check Ahmed's sales here, he has 5,000 over here, and another one we have 6,000, and another one he has 3,000. But the sales which are greater than 5,000, it's only here in 6,000. So that's the result we received. So it means our function is working. So let's say we want to find Sarah's total, whereby Sarah's sales, whereby it's greater than 7,000, right? It's greater than 7,000. So we shall highlight our cell where we want our result. Start off with our equal sign. Again, we type our SUMIFS function, double click that. Then our sum range will be in our sales column. We highlight our sales column, we put a comma, and our criteria range, since we want the Sarah's sales and Sarah is in employees column, so we highlight the employees column there also, then comma, and our criteria, we want only the total sales for Sarah, so we shall put Sarah over here. Okay, we put our comma there. Then our criteria range, since we want them to be greater than 7,000, so we shall put a criteria range 2, and this time we shall choose our sales column. Okay, we put a comma again we shall put our criteria, and this time the criteria will be greater than 7,000, so we shall put our greater than 7,000 over there. Then we close our brackets and we hit enter. As you can see, it gave us the Sarah's total sales, but only those which are greater than 7,000. And if we check it here, we have Sarah over here, one is 7,000, Another Sarah is here, is 9,000, and this last one is here, which is 7,500. So let's test our result and we see. If we come here and we say we sum up only the cells for seller which are greater than 7,000, we have only this one, then and again another one, we have this one. So we close here and we hit OK. You see we've got the same result as here. So it means our SUMIFS function is working correctly. So let's look at another example over here. Let's say we want to find both department or two departments here, like sales and HR department, in one formula. So how to do that? You want to sum up the total, right? But using two departments. So how to do that? You highlight where your cell, you highlight the cell where you want your result to be. You start off with the equal sign, as you can see. Then this time, since we're summing up two departments, we shall start off with a sum function, right? You double click it. Then after that, you write your SUMIF function, right? You write your SUMIFS function. You double click it. So within here, when you're finding when you're looking for like two departments over here and you want to sum up their total within your data range, so within here you first write the sum function, then again you write your SUMIFS function so that you get the correct result. So you just write the sum, then again SUMIFS, then you close up here. Now this time the sum range will be in our sales column. As you can see, you highlight your sales column, you put a comma, and our criteria range will be in our department column. So we shall highlight our department column. As you can see, you put a comma again. After that, it asks you for the criteria. Now this time we want two departments, the sales and the HR department. So within here, you have to introduce what we call the curly brackets within here. So I will just put the curly brackets there. Since we have all we're using, we want two different departments. So we introduce what we call the curly brackets. So we write our sales department over there, then comma, and within this we also write our HR department. We close our curly brackets, as you can see, and we close our function with two brackets, as you can see. Then we hit enter and we've got the total, the sales total for two departments, for the sales and the HR department. So let's test our result. As we can see, and when I see all within our department, we only have the sales, HR, sales, HR, sales, HR. It means we only have also two departments. So let's test it. So it means all these, they belong to two departments. Let's test our result and see. So we shall come over here. We use what we call the sum function, right? Only the sum function, and we add up all these cells and we close the bracket, we hit enter. As you can see, we've got the same results when we're using SUMIFS function. So basically that's how we use the SUMIF function, and SUMIF function helps you to write multiple conditions within one formula. Hope you learned something new today. Hope to see you again. Don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe, like and share, and we meet in the next video. Thank you.